So Ben, you're the most technically advanced here, are you, at the blacksmiths or not?
That's a very generous way of saying it. I've been here the longest. Yeah.
You've been here the longest, so you should know the most. So I'm very interested in language,
Yeah.
and I hear this phrase, no axe to grind.
Okay.
Have you got any idea where that comes from?
If you haven't got an axe to grind, you aren't preparing for something to come. So if you are getting ready for something to go wrong, you are sharpening your axe in preparation of it.
Got it.
Yeah. If you don't need to, you've got no problem. Quite a lot of expressions come from blacksmithing. It's an old craft, and so there's lots of terms that come from it. Too many irons in the fire.
Okay.
Yeah. A blacksmith would have several jobs going at once, and if they tried to take on too much, do too much at one time, they'd have 5 or 6 different pokers in the fire, for example. You take it out, you forge it, you put it back in. You take the next one out, you forge it, you put it back in. So there's no downtime. You're not standing there waiting for something to heat up. If you're doing too much at once, you've got too many things in the fire, you're going to overexert yourself and you're going to melt something, you're going to ruin them. Yeah?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so too many irons in the fire means you've spread yourself too thin. Yeah.
So those coal forges,
Yeah.
the temperature, you have to use the bellows and you heat them up.
Yeah, so they get a lot hotter. The ones you've been using today is a propane forge. It can get hotter, but we hold it at the temperature it needs to be. This means the axe will take a little bit longer to heat up, but it means you can't melt through it.
What about bury the hatchet? Is that one of yours?
Bury the hatchet isn't blacksmith. Bury the hatchet, I believe, is Native American, and I believe that was between 2 tribes when you would have the war hatchet that you would essentially say, we are no longer fighting. Burying it is a symbol of saying we are not going to fight one another. Yeah, they are burying the hatchet. We're no longer going to fight with one another. Strike while the iron is hot. Yeah, take the opportunity while it's there. The metal is there, the metal is hot. I'm not sure if you'll have been hammering it a little bit later on when, say, you take it out of the fire, you're hammering and hammering and hammering, and it got to that sort of red colour. You'll have felt it in your arms. It'll have bounced, yeah? It won't have moved as much. Strike while iron is hot means take the opportunity while it's there, and when it's not there, put it back in the fire, yeah? If the opportunity is in front of you, take it. Essentially what that means. I'm not sure if this is a blacksmithing expression. I really hope it is. But the big troughs in front, the water bosch, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
A task that is completed easily and finished quickly. Bish, bash, bosh.
Oh, right. Yeah. So that trough is called a bosch?
Bosch, yeah. So you have on the old forges, you have a water bosch at the front, a water bosch at the back. The one for the front is for cooling, it's the front bosch. The one at the back is to stop the fire from melting the actual machine itself, called a back bosch. That there was named by the Normans, yeah? Well, in our common parlance now, because it looks a bit like an apple. Do you speak any French?
Okay, yeah.
Pomme.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like an apple, yeah? If you're fighting, if I may, yeah? Right, you've got your pommel. If you're fighting, keeping them at length, you have the blade for it. If they come too close, that's going to be a very ineffectual attack. What you do is smack them with the back end.
Oh, yeah? Pommel.
Yeah.
You're giving them a pommel.
Yeah, that's where we get pommel from.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Yeah. And just a little evolution of words.
This steel, by the way, I'm quite fascinated by steel because there's a lot of different steels around, aren't there?
You're telling me.
And when you look at the Vikings and they put 3 different steels and platinum and forge them, when you quench them, you don't want it all hard because it'll snap.
No, true. And the reason the Vikings did that is because they couldn't really control the quality of the steel that they would get. They had quite poor steel generally.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, same as Japanese.
It's better now.
It is much better now. Yeah, the Swedes have some of the best steel in the world. Yeah, but that's deep. Yeah, this is only surface level we're talking about then. Yeah. And the reason you'd have that, the reason you'd have the different sorts of steel is they'd make a billet and go, okay, this is a very hard steel, or this is a very soft steel. You'd mix them together. So it had a bit of flexibility in the best of both worlds. How you cool them, how you cool steel generally.
Temper it, basically. Is it tempering?
No, that comes later. It's another part of heat treatment, but yeah. Hardening is how you cool it. So if you put it into water, it will cool faster than if you put it into oil. Oil cools it down over about a minute or 2, depending on the thickness. For a blade like this, it can take a little bit longer. Water, you could have this steaming hot, plunge it into some water, it'll be cool within 10 seconds. Yeah, touchable within 10 seconds, yeah? That, for some steels, is too fast. It can shake the thing apart, especially if it's got a lot of carbon in there, and it can rip it and break it very, very brittle, yeah? Tempering is what comes later. So I can harden a bit of high carbon steel in some oil, it'll be nice and hard, it will hold an edge, but as soon as you drop it or throw it or use it on something anything tougher than a lettuce, you run the risk of it snapping. Yeah?
Or chipping out. Yeah.
What will happen is when you cool, it forms a crystalline structure. Yeah? Tempering allows those crystals to move around and find a better position. They're still the same size, but it means that they can be...
You're kind of settling down.
Yeah, that's the thing. It means that they can move around. They're a bit more flexible. Yeah. And it means that they can still be hard, but not be brittle. It makes it more tough. You make a more flexible blade. So yeah, tempering is comparatively very cold. You can temper something at 200 degrees. Yeah, compared to hardening, where you need to go past the non-eutectic around 560, 600 degrees. So yeah, it's a lot colder. You can do it in a household oven nowadays.
Yeah. We talk about the household oven, by the way. It's an energy-intensive business, this, isn't it? So when I see cheap steel, you know, like you look at China, you look at some of the tools that come in from China, too good to be true for the price. You think they must be made with cheap steel, because you can't make good steel unless you put energy into it.
Yeah.
I know they've got arc furnaces now and so on, haven't they?
Yeah,
But
I'm not a foundry. We don't necessarily know what they are putting in them, but we have noticed, especially with some of the cheaper anvils that will tend to come over from there, they don't feel right, they don't sound right, they don't tend to last as long. I mean, to be fair, at the end of the day, it's a lump of metal, that's what we need it for, but we've got anvils in there that are over 200 years old. We've got anvils in there that are less than 10 years old. And we can start to feel the difference already. The newer ones, the ones that have come over from China, tend to be a little softer, they tend to be a bit louder, they don't hold their face as well. It's a bit of a cliche to say, but the older ones tended to be built to last.
yeah, really, yeah.
Whereas the newer ones, they're made because they need to be sold. Yeah, you make it, you sell it. If it breaks in 10 years, whatever. Yeah. Whereas those ones, they were made by the factory, for the factory they were in, and they needed to last, so they were made at good quality.
And where do you get hold of a 200-year-old anvil these days? I mean,
All over
eBay?
Yeah, so a lot of people think you can't get hold of anvils. Anvils are everywhere, yeah? The issue is the price has been put up massively. It used to be, even 30 years ago, you could get an anvil. You could go to a farmer who had an anvil laying in the garden or whatever and just say, hey, how much you want for that anvil? And the answer was normally either 50 quid or if you can take it yourself, you can have it, yeah? Nowadays, you find a 200 kilo anvil, that's going to go for 700 to 800 pounds, possibly go to 1,000.
Whoa, why?
Yeah.
No, not more blacksmiths around, surely.
No, people like to decorate their gardens with them. And while it's a nice thing, the anvils look nice, they're a great aesthetic, it's very frustrating for people who are trying to get started in a craft to have to compete with people who just want to stick them in their garden. It's a bit of a waste, really.
It is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Can we look at this 200-year-old anvil?
Yeah, sure. This one here.
So that's it?
Yes.
That's the one we've been using?
Yeah, this is a cart maker's anvil. You don't see these very often. It's got this nice little leg that comes out here. These would help make cartwheels. Yeah, so this is...
Hang on a minute, you've got a cartwheel. We're talking about the metal hoop, the band,
Yes.
not the spokes,
No,
right?
that's
So
right.
you've got that. And how does that work?
So, I don't make cartwheels. This is me
Okay.
taking guesses.
Yeah.
What I would assume is for a normal anvil, in order to like have a whole loop, well, I imagine holding a hula hoop from one specific point.
Yeah.
You can have a crane that goes around it and holds it at the top so you can rivet at the bottom, but what's probably more like that is you can have it over here so it loops around down there and you can work on this small face here.
Okay, yeah,
That'd be a
I
guess.
understand, yeah. So if the higher this were, the bigger the wheel, I guess they don't get that big, do they? So
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is you can always raise it higher as well. Yeah. That would be my guess.
This is beautiful, isn't it? So this was a 200-year-old anvil.
Yeah, well, that's it, because they don't make many carts these days, and making a specialised tool just for cart making, no one's going to really need it these days. So normal anvils, what people think of is a London pattern anvil. This is a London pattern anvil, okay? You have a horn, you have a cutting table, you have a step, a face, a hardy and a pritchel hole, okay? The one over there has 2 hardy holes, it has that extra step on it, but every anvil was different depending on what you were making, where you were from. Some had more than 1 hole, some had 2 horns, one on either end. Most people think of a London pattern anvil when they're thinking of an anvil. Yeah, it's that standard one that everyone uses. It's a Swiss Army knife of anvils.
I'm a blacksmith, I haven't got an anvil. Who makes it?
Right, so I mean, like the earlier anvils, they've just been big blocks of metal. Yeah, you just have, like, if you ever see the Mastermere find, it's the travel anvils he has are essentially the size of sledgehammer heads.
Oh, yeah.
You can make a pair of tongs without a pair of tongs, yeah? You can make a steel hammer with a bronze hammer. You know, you can always just go back and back and back and back, yeah? In theory, you can hammer one out with a rock if you want to.
So this over here,
Yeah.
this isn't an anvil.
No, that is a swage block. If you look at the holes on the anvils there, you've got the squares and the holes and the pritchel holes and the hardy holes and all that sort of stuff. These have different sizes. Now the ones you're using here, these little ones there, those enable you to put that rectangular drift through the axe while still supporting the rest of the axe itself.
Okay, this is like a workmate for blacksmiths. Where'd you get this from?
So this one was ballast in someone's ship.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've no idea how long it was there. But essentially it was being used to weigh down the ship. It was in the ship for at least 60 years before we got it, but it was well rusted and had a top tool sort of stuck in one of the holes, which we had to grind out again. It is a very old one. We have no idea where it came from before then, but it was just in there, in that ship, and when the ship was decommissioned, they sold off all the stuff in the ballast.
And I'd like to think that you look like a fairly strong bloke, that you just lifted this up and carried it out of the ship.
I could probably lift it, maybe carry it 2 or 3 feet.
Could you? Yeah.
It's not an easy
I
thing
know
to shift.
one thing, mate. I couldn't lift that.
They're pretty heavy. Nothing in blacksmithing is light.